Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another hot episode of a very special podcast. This is the podcast in which we talk about all of your favorite TV series from yesteryear and then discuss it over a unsweetened iced tea with a raspberry, courtesy of Dunkin' Donuts. I'm your boy, Patrick M. Dunn, and I'm joined here, as always, by the smokin' Kat Halstead, the author. Welcome back, girl.
The smoking Cat Halstead?
Yeah, I was trying to keep up with the theme of the night, in a way. I don't know if that was in poor taste. Is your cough better? Is this going to be a cough-free episode?
My cough is better. My throat is sore again, though.
Oh, that sucks. Okay. You don't sound as raspy this week. You don't have that husky voice.
Yes, well, that's a good thing. Especially because I did get another complete on that project today.
You got a complaint today? On January Jones's birthday?
No, complete. I got a complete.
Oh, complete. I thought you said complaint. I was like, whoa.
No, I got a complete.
Well, good for you. I'm proud. Well, it's still January, so that means it's can only mean one thing, right? Jason Bateman, January.
Yes, it's Jason Bateman, January.
And it will be for the rest of the month. And I just wish it was a year-long event. Maybe we could just rebrand as a Jason Bateman podcast and just only talk about Jason Bateman and his wise words of wisdom.
We probably could, but should we? Could and should are two totally different things.
Yeah, I guess we deserve a break every now and then from his amazingness, right?
I mean,
You can't have too much of a good thing.
you want to make sure you fully enjoy and embrace the magic that is Jason Bateman January, and if we did that all year long, it just wouldn't be the same.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I don't know. I might beg to differ, but who knows? So what are we dipping into tonight for the second time around?
We are diving back into the very I'm trying to think of how identity confused TV show that starred Jason Bateman.
Oh yeah.
And we don't mean this is like one of his like one season wonders where things went weird. This is a long running show. It just had 3 official titles throughout its run.
Yes. See, I always just called the show Valerie because that was the original name of the series. Even when she was no longer on the show, I just continued to call it Valerie.
See, I always called the show Hogan Family, like as far back as I can remember. I know it started off as Valerie, but...
Yeah, it was originally called Valerie, then it became Valerie's Family, the Hogans, and then it just became the Hogan Family.
That's just a lot of names for one show.
But I followed it all the way through, I will tell you that. And we picked probably is a standout episode for me because this one is burned in my memory because I remember watching this, like the original air date.
Yeah, I remember watching it as a kid too. There are definitely little moments in it that I'm like, oh, I remember that.
Yeah, there's one iconic shot of Jason Bateman's character, David Hogan, and he's walking into his like old bedroom that was burned in a house fire. And it's just like in shambles. And I just remember him like staring longingly at all of his burned stuff. And I was afraid of house fires after that.
Then he picks up the photo frame and it's just Niagara Falls.
They don't explicitly state it, but it's heavily implied that it's a picture of his mom, Valerie Harper, who died basically like this is season 3, episode 3. So she's only been gone for 2 episodes.
Yeah.
And this was like them just kind of officially rebranding the show. And they just kind of said, fuck you to Valerie Harper, who they wrote off.
It's like, here's that morning moment. And now we have an excuse to not have your picture anywhere in the house.
Yes. And you'll get like kind of like a new decor. Like they'll just kind of redo the house, make it look different. It's not Valerie's designs anymore. It's, I don't know, whatever Sandy Duncan was into.
Yeah.
It was the dad's sister. And I don't know, like, I was always confused, I guess, for when I was younger. Like, a part of me just, like, thought they were, like, going to be a couple one day. Like, watching this now, I'm like, no. I don't know. I feel like I missed that very key element when I was, like, 4 years old or 5 years old, however old I was when the show came out.
I mean...
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And then, like, when it kind of hit syndication, like, a few years later, and I was watching it, like, slightly older, I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. It's his sister. I don't know. For some reason, I always thought it was Valerie's sister. I don't know why.
Oh, huh. Yeah, I don't know why you would think that.
Because I hadn't seen, like, after... I mean, we did it 2 years ago on the podcast, and that was, like, the first time I seen it in a long time, and I just, like, forgot whose sibling she was.
Okay, I kind of think, like, maybe because we grew up with Full House, and you have the dead sister's brother move in with Danny.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's maybe where your brain
It's possible.
crossed those wires.
Yeah, it's possible. And I forgot how weird the Poole family is, the neighbors, Mr. and Mrs. Poole.
So weird.
I think they were just trying to like lighten up the atmosphere, and it was just inappropriate. We'll get to it. We'll get to it. We'll
Yes.
dig deep into the pool, the deep end of the pool. All right, so this episode originally aired on October 5th, 1987. It was I believe it was a Tuesday night. I think this was a Tuesday. It was Monday night. I forgot it was a Monday night. And I can tell you what I was watching all night because I remember this night. I remember sitting down
Okay.
this whole night. So you want to go back to October 5th, 1987 and paint the landscape?
Yes, let's go back to when we were both 6 years old.
I think this is a hot night of television. I think this is we're gonna get a rare Cat 5 this week, I think.
Oh.
I don't know. I'm foreseeing it, yeah. You let me know.
Okay.
You let me know. All right. You want to start off with the boys at ABC, the alphabet?
Yeah, what's happening on ABC?
All right. Things kick off tonight. It's a full hour of MacGyver.
Okay.
What's his name? Richard Dean Anderson, is that his name?
Yes, that's Richard Dean Anderson, the original Jeff Weber on General Hospital.
And the original MacGyver on MacGyver. Is the new MacGyver still a thing? I honestly don't even know.
Yeah, I think it's like a Peacock thing now, though.
Peacock?
I don't know. No, Magnum's the Peacock now.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah. They like hopped networks.
Yeah.
I don't know. Who knows? Who cares? I never watched it.
I'm like, we're not going to get that deep into it because neither of us watch it. Neither of us are going to watch it. Like, why are we talking about it?
I don't know. You never know. Maybe in like 6 months, I'll probably be like, hey, I just started watching the new MacGyver. I'm like super into it.
I mean, like I am with FBI.
Yes. And me currently with the Vampire Diaries.
Of all the shows, Patrick, Vampire Diaries.
It's you know what? I wanted to hate it, but I'm kind of like sucked into this world. I didn't even know that Melinda Clarke was on it. Did you know that?
No, I did not know that.
No, and she plays like a cunty mom. So like she kind of just like feels like she's great in that role of like the cunty mom. Like that, like she does that great.
Mm-hmm.
She does that awesome. And special shout out to Melinda Clarke's podcast, Welcome to the OC Bitches, which now is featuring Misha Barton. You just sent me something earlier today?
I think she's on an episode. I think she's like on an episode.
Yeah, like, you know what? I think as people were like, is she ever going to come on? Because like everyone else was on, but you know,
yeah,
not her. All of a sudden, like I wonder what episode they're doing. Like I wonder where they are in the pantheon of episodes.
Yeah, I have no clue. In all honesty, like none at all.
I watched like the first 3 episodes, and then I just kind of got tired of just watching them talk about the OC for some reason. I was like, you know what? This is too much.
Like I get it. I mean, I don't listen to the Boy Meets World podcast with like Will and Ryder and Danielle.
Yeah.
And like I would just see clips of it all over my TikTok, and I was like, okay, I guess I don't really need to watch the podcast or listen to it because anything major that I'm gonna want to know is here. Same with like Steven and Kristen Calavari.
Oh yeah, they just dropped that too
for Laguna Beach. Anything I wanted to know like ended up on TikTok.
And then there was like, what was it? Mark Paul Gosselaar watches Saved by the Bell, and I feel like there's another one. Oh, the Scrubs people, the Scrubs guys, Zach and
yeah,
Faison, whatever his name is, like they're
Donald Faison.
Yeah, Donald Faison, and shout out to Donald Faison who records the show from his closet because I literally do the same thing.
That's Patrick. Patrick does record from his closet.
All right, 9:00. Any guesses? It's Monday night. Can only mean one thing, right?
Football.
Yes. The 49ers against the Giants. Ooga. CBS, you want to go over to the Tiffany Network, see what they have to bless us with?
What the heck do we have on CBS?
This is a pretty good night on CBS because things kick off with you love this show. You used to talk about this all the time. It's definitely come up. It's been on these nights that we've done. Kate and Allie.
Oh, okay. You know, I just watched an episode of that on YouTube.
Oh, really?
A few weeks ago. Yeah.
Ooga. Was it good?
Yeah, it was. It was a Halloween episode.
Of course it was.
Yeah. Yeah, but it was enjoyable. I mean, I love me some Jane Curtin. I love Jane Curtin.
Yeah, it's Susan St. James, Jane Curtin, right? Those are the two.
Yeah.
2 stars. Yeah. How long was the show on for? Because like this just kind of, I didn't really like. I knew it existed, but it just never entered my radar.
Okay. I don't know. It was long enough to get syndication, though.
Okay. I feel like was it on Lifetime reruns? Like I feel like that was a good network for it.
No, like okay, so like when I was a kid, we're watching Kate and Allie a lot, like after like episodes of Three's Company.
Oh,
So
odd pairing.
and like right before the episodes of MASH would air.
Oh, okay. So sort of like late night-ish, maybe.
No, it was like this is when I was a kid. This is like the 5 to 8 p.m. prime time syndication spot.
I must have gone to bed at like 6 p.m. because I always felt like MASH was on like late at night for some reason.
We had MASH on at like 7 o'clock
Oh, okay. Well, not in Boston.
when I was a kid.
We had like MASH when that aired, you knew it was almost time for bed, or like it was past your bedtime.
Hmm.
All right. Following Kate and Allie is we've talked about the show before. I just because I decided to read the summary. Frank's Place. Do you remember this? Do you remember talking about this?
Not really.
It was on CBS for 22 episodes. It was created by Hugh Wilson, and it had Tim Reed in it also, or he was. I don't know if he was in it. Yeah, he was in it. But so this is like two WKRP alumni coming together for this new show. It had Daphne Maxwell Reed, who played like one of the, I think she's the original Aunt Vivian on Fresh Prince.
Okay.
And it was this was like a fish out of water show. So it's set in New Orleans, and it chronicles the life of Tim Reed's character, who's a well-to-do African American professor at Brown University, and he like inherits a restaurant in New Orleans.
I was like, is it a hotel or something? That okay.
Yeah, it's like a I feel like it's like a dive bar, and
Yeah.
I don't know, shenanigans ensue, and kind of I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
TV Guide ranked it in 2013 as number 3 in the shows that were canceled too soon. So
Okay.
I don't know. People are, I guess, into it, but not enough people. I don't know. I know we've talked about it before, though.
Yeah.
All right. Following Frank's Place is Newhart.
Okay. Okay.
A show we both love, and we love the actor Bob Newhart.
Yes.
And I think we've pretty much done all his shows, right? Except for that weird like early 90s one where he like runs a comic book company or something like
Something
that.
like that. Yeah.
And they like rebranded it as like a greeting card company when comic books weren't cool anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And then following Newhart is Designing Women. Ooga.
Okay.
We've done this show before. Shout out to our gal pals, Delta Burke, Dixie Carter, Jean Smart, Annie Potts, and Julia Duffy is in it too, right? Yeah, she was in it.
Yeah, Julia Duffy's in there, and yeah.
Good show, good times. And then at the 10 o'clock slot, I'm surprised the show is still on in 1987 because I feel like this was like on way earlier. Cagney and Lacey.
Oh, okay.
Did you ever watch this?
I know it's a show. I know someone in my family watched it.
Yeah.
That is all I like. I remember like seeing pieces here and there. It was not something I was like, ooh, what's this? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So maybe like 2 or 3 years ago, I watched the TV movie pilot, and it had Loretta Swit on it.
Mm-hmm.
She plays Cagney, but then when it became a show, Loretta Swit didn't like go forward, and I just like could not get into, even though she was like on it for the rest of the series, I just couldn't get into Cagney. And actually, I think after the first season, they like replaced Cagney again. So like, there's like 3 Cagneys.
What the hell?
Yeah, and I think there's like multiple Lacey's, but I could be wrong.
That's too much.
I remember watching the pilot movie, and it's just it actually was a pretty good, interesting case. But there's a lot of like they're 2 ladies who come into this like pretty much like masculine precinct,
Mm-hmm.
and they're all like, a lady can't do the job, and then they end up like solving the murder like before the guys even could like figure out like where to start.
Okay.
It was like that kind of show. Like, hey, we got lady cops. Yeah, I mean, it was all right. It was all right. All right. I'm excited for NBC though. I think you're gonna be smitten by this night.
Okay.
Things kick off at 8 with Elf, America's favorite alien.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, I was totally into Elf. I think this is like peak Elf, right? Like 87.
Yeah, this is like Alf Mania, yes.
I was just thinking about this the other day. So Elf, like it wasn't really on that long. Like it was like 4 or 5 seasons, maybe, right? Something like that.
Yeah, like not long at all, but he is iconic. But he also had the cartoon series too.
For something that like ingrained itself into the zeitgeist, it was not on that long, which blows my mind. And I remember, I think Elf might have been the first like show that I ever watched that got like canceled without a resolution. Because I just remember watching
Yes.
like the show one day, and it was like Elf gets captured by the government. And then like I always just like watched it in syndication, waiting to see like the follow up episode, but there never was one. But like I was too young to understand that. Like I didn't understand that
Yeah.
you could just like end something without like a proper resolution.
Well, yeah, it's like all of this, like you get into this like mindset as a kid. This is the night you watch Alf, and then you come back the next season and Alf's not there.
Yeah, and I even think like
It's something else.
they didn't. I mean, like they canceled it. They just stopped making new episodes, but they still air it during the summer. So you would just see like other episodes, like the ones you've already seen, and you're like, when the fuck are they going to come back to like Alf getting caught by the government? Because I want to know what happens.
I swear to God, I think there was one time I told my mom, because I had a little black and white TV in my room, but the big color TV was in like the living room. And my grandpa wanted to watch something, and I was like, but mommy, I want to see what color Lynn's sweater is.
Oh, that's funny. Oh yeah, because didn't Lynn always wear like stylish sweaters?
I guess so. Oh my God, it's like such a most random thing.
You know what? I always wonder whatever happened to Lynn. I don't know. You don't really hear much from her anymore.
No, or the Brian kid.
Yeah, you're right. The only one like we ever saw again was the creepy dad,
Ugh.
and he just kept like popping up in things.
He was Rachel's boss on Friends.
Ghost Rider, like that PBS show.
Yes.
He plays the creepy like video store guy who was like copying videos and trying to like sell them.
Yes.
Great storyline. Great storyline.
Oh my God. Rally K. That's how they would like signal they had to have a meeting. And like whoever's initial it was is the house they would go to.
Oh yeah, like Rally J.
Like if it was Rally J, they would go to Jamal's house. They would all meet at Jamal's house.
Yeah, it was Rally G. They'd go over to Gabby's house.
Yes, or an A for Alex, or an L for Lenny, or R for Rob, or T for Tina, or whatever. Like, yeah.
Yeah, great show. Great show. You know what? We gotta find it. I think it's on YouTube.
I reference it all the time, and you never even get it.
Is it on Apple TV?
No, that's the new one.
Is it any good?
Okay, so like I had Apple TV for a little while, and I tried to watch it, and it was not good.
I'm sure the original one, I don't know how it'll hold up, but like it wrapped me in like for at least like 2 years. I was totally into this show.
I loved Ghost Rider. Oh my God, I loved it so much.
It was a great show. You know what? I went out and bought a pen and one of those like composition notebooks and would just like write things down and hope that a ghost one day would see it.
So if I ever see a pen on a lanyard, like attached on a lanyard, I'm like, Ghost Rider.
I don't even think it was like a lanyard. I think it was just like a string, like a yellow string.
It was like a thin lanyard kind of thing. Like
I remember I bought a like sometimes they'll come out those like puzzle books that have like crossword puzzles and maybe like word searches and like other weird little like guessing games in there. They had a Ghost Rider one. I remember buying it from, like Walgreens or CVS or something, whatever the pharmacy store was at the time.
Yes.
Ghost Rider never came to visit me, and I was always upset. Like, didn't it turn out that like Ghost Rider was actually like the spirit of like a slave from the Civil War era? Like
that is what we have been told. I don't think like there's no actual resolution of who Ghost Rider was, like why he was attached to Jamal's house or anything, because it was like when Jamal and his dad, played by Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah, that's right. Who knew?
We're like moving stuff in the basement. They knocked over a book and released this ghost.
Yeah, it was like a diary or something, wasn't it?
I have no clue. Like, I don't know. I literally don't remember. I don't think, like, the book actually mattered.
I feel like the producers came out and said this is, like, who Ghost Rider was, and that was, like, their intentions. But
yeah, I think that's what they said.
But they, like, canceled the show or something, or they just stopped making episodes. Or they just, like, everyone like aged out, so they had like new kids on and no one really cared.
Well, they recast Gabby,
like they had like Hector came on,
and then there was Hector, and then there was Jamal's cousin, and then we got the slime monster.
Yeah, I feel like Lenny went to college or something.
Yeah, Lenny was gonna go to a performing arts high school. Rob had already moved.
Julia Stiles was in a season.
She wasn't in a season, she was in one storyline. She was in the hacker storyline.
Yeah, it was good.
Yes.
Like that was like when I first learned about computers, and I was like, I want to be a hacker, Mom.
Oh my God.
You buy me a computer so I could hack into the school and change my grades. Like they would make it seem like that you could like hack into the school and like set off like the sprinklers system. I'm like, I'm pretty sure in like the 90s, like that wasn't a thing.
Not for most places.
I mean, I'm sure it is now, but I feel like back in the like at that time frame, it was just like old pipe work.
Yeah, like back in 1994 or whatever, 1993 93 or whatever, 92 when we're watching this. It was not a thing.
No, because I remember like watching the movie Hackers with like Angelina Jolie, like the kid. It's like 1995, and he like goes to his like Brooklyn Brownstone High School. It's this like old like Preston Prep looking like building, and he like hacks into his school system and like sets off the sprinklers. I'm like, I don't think you can do that in 1995 even. That's more of like a 2012 thing.
Like, not most places.
All right, want to move along?
Yes.
Finish off the night because I think. All right, 8:30. Obviously, the Hogan family will get you in a hot minute. I think 9 o'clock takes the cake. You ready for this?
Give it to me.
It's a made-for-TV movie, and it's a supernatural thriller.
Okay.
I'm going to read you the synopsis, and then I want you to guess who the star of this was, okay?
Okay.
All right, it's called Haunted by Her Past. Do you know this yet?
Mm-mm.
Okay, the plot synopsis is, while staying in the room of an old New England inn, a woman becomes possessed by the spirit of one of her witch ancestors and tries to kill her husband.
What?
Do you want to just throw... Do you want to throw a name out there as who do you think the star of this was? It's 1987, 1988 television season.
Susan Lucci.
Yes, you got it. I knew you were going to get it. I don't know why.
Who played the husband? Who played the husband?
Robin Thomas? Do you know that name?
No.
It says he's been in Who's the Boss, Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, Startup, things I've never heard of. Do you know who else is in it though too? Is the wife, Mr. Cotter's wife, Marsha Strassman.
Really?
Yes, she's also in it too.
Would Finola Hughes also be in this movie, aka Anna freaking Devane?
It's not on the I'm looking on TV Tango. It doesn't have her name on there, but let me just see if it's.
And maybe John James, aka Fallon's husband from Dynasty, and then later one of the Martin guys.
Oh.
Erica's ex-husband on All My Children.
Did you find like an IMDb page? Because I'm only on TV Tango, so they didn't go like.
I totally went and Googled it.
Okay, good time. Did you find the movie?
I did not find like the movie. I found some information on it.
Okay, I know a lot of There's a bunch of Susan Lucci TV movies on Amazon Prime, so it could be on there.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember I watched one a few years ago in which like she goes after the mob.
Yes.
I think like the mob kills her husband, and she goes after them. She like takes on the mob on her own. She's like a stay-at-home mom.
Yes, he went on. Okay, John James went on to play Jeff Martin on All My Children. Jeff was one of Erica's like early husbands. Like I'm pretty sure he's the one who she was taking the birth control with, and he freaked out.
I could see that. Whatever happened to the like the All My Children like spin-off that was supposed to come out like 2 years ago?
Yeah, you mean the one Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos were producing, Pine Valley? I have no clue.
Like, is it still in like development hell?
I don't know. Let me.
I feel like we were talking about it like a few years ago at this point.
It has an IMDb page.
Like, did they shoot a pilot?
Hold on.
I feel like Heather would know this. I feel like she'd give us like a live update. Maybe we should like send her a text.
I think it's stuck in developmental hell at ABC.
Okay, it'll probably be there for a while. Yeah, by the time it comes out, it'll be like a shell of its former self.
Yeah.
Like what it was supposed to be, and then it'll just be like quickly canceled. It'll be like remember like they tried to make like a Cruel Intentions update with Sarah Michelle.
Yeah.
SMG. There was gonna be like her when she's older or something. Her and Reese, but like Reese didn't want to do it, and like SMG was like, all right, I'll still do it, and then like Fox said no or something. I don't remember the details, but it sounded like a bad idea.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right. On a scale of 1 out of 5, haunted by her past, how many haunted by her past would you give this night for television? Because I think this is pretty good.
It's a 4.5. Pretty much something for everybody tonight.
Yeah, and some like heavy hitters.
You know?
I mean, Frank's Place kind of, I feel like drags the night down a little bit, but I'm intrigued by it. You know, I'd probably at least sit through an episode or 22 or however many they made.
I feel like there's enough variety that you could be watching TV all night, but it's also a night where maybe you pop on for half an hour to watch something, maybe an hour, and that's okay. You know what I mean?
Yes, and this would have been a great night to have a TiVo, I think, because you want to just like watch every network.
Because yeah, like if okay,
would have been a great night for that. Too bad it wasn't invented. I mean, you probably could have done like you could have done like the VCR downstairs and like watched something else upstairs kind of move, but 1987, you know, I mean VCRs were around, but they probably weren't great. They probably didn't record. I don't know.
Yeah, they existed, but they had like the remote control was literally attached to the device. Like you would plug the remote control in.
The first VCR I had did not record. I remember that. It only played and like rewinded and fast forward and pause. That was it. You couldn't record.
Ours recorded, but I just remember the thing I remember most about it is it had a little remote control, but it was literally like a cord you had to plug into the machine to use.
Yeah, and I feel like the cord was like it wasn't that long. It was pretty much like your like cell phone charge cord. Like it doesn't make it all the way to where you want it to go.
Yeah, it's not going to be where like it was definitely not anywhere near like my favorite chair to sit in, which was my grandpa's chair across the living room.
Yeah, unless like your coffee table was like a foot and a half away from the TV, it pretty much was worthless.
Yeah.
You want to get into this Hogan's Family burnt out episode because this is
Yes.
I thought this was a pretty lit episode.
I see what you did there.
So things kick off, and it's like I kind of my dogs were running around, so I kind of missed the beginning. So I guess Sandy Duncan has only been in town for like 2 weeks at this point. I think she wants to put all her stuff in the attic, but the family stuff's up there, so they're kind of like clearing stuff out so Sandy could put her stuff up there. Is that what was going on?
It sort of. I think that whatever they were doing. So think about it like this. Whatever room Sandy's in, all the crap that was in that room has to go somewhere now.
Okay.
And that was probably all Valerie's stuff anyways.
Oh, okay. So like they were gonna probably move it to the attic, but like they had enough stuff up there, so they had to like get rid of stuff.
Yeah, so it's like, boys, you gotta clear out some of the stuff. Like, do we really need a jacket from when you were 5? No, we don't.
Yeah, so like they're up there, the whole family's up there. Sandy's downstairs making dinner, and the dad, Willie, David, and Michael, is that the other kid's name?
Yeah.
They're all up there, and they're just like pulling out like toy lawnmowers, like snow jackets from years ago, and then they pull out this like really weird looking lamp that Jason Bateman's character David made in like shop class when like first grade or something. I couldn't even tell what it was supposed to be.
Oh my god, that lamp. Like, okay, because here's the thing. It looks like the insert of a t-shirt. Like, if you were like doing wet, like cold silk screening with like actual paint, the kind of like insert you would put into a t-shirt so that the paint doesn't seep through to the other side. Like there's this weird t-shirt cutout thing with a lamp part on top and a base, and it's just weird. Even David's like, yeah, this is not good.
The only reason I knew it was a lamp was because there was a light bulb on top of it. So I was like, okay, it's a lamp.
Yeah, that's the only reason.
Jason Bateman's character David made it for his dad in like first grade or something.
I'm sure he was a little, I'm sure it's more like a 6th or 7th grade type thing.
I don't know. He made it when he was younger, like younger than he is now.
Yeah.
And they're like making a joke about it, how like the dad was like just going to toss it. And David's upset because he's like, but I made that for you. And he's like, oh yeah, like, you know, it'll look great in our living room on our mantle or something. And one of the other brothers, I feel like it was Michael, maybe. I don't remember.
No, oh, it's not Michael, it's Mark.
Oh, Mark. Okay, yeah, Mark. And they're twins. Mark and Willie are twins, but they don't look alike.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, he plugs it in and he tries to turn it on, but it doesn't start. And he's like, oh, well, this thing's a dud. And then all of a sudden, Sandy's like, all right, dinner's ready. So they all go downstairs. And then we get this, like, the camera kind of, like, turns slightly to, focus and center on the lamp. And we see, like, a spark.
Mm-hmm.
And
okay, so, like, this is the thing. It didn't spark when he turned it on.
No.
It did nothing. There's a delayed spark, which I don't think that's how this works.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this is a shitty fucking wooden lamp that Jason Bateman made when he was younger. So, I mean, it's not like something you would get at Target. So, and, you know, maybe there is like a weird circuit or something, or maybe like the wire is frayed. I don't know.
Like the whole thing, like, so they like, okay, so the dad has been like getting stuff set up in Sandy's room, and then like, because my thought is, I guess like Sandy's stuff just showed up.
Yeah. She had it like shipped from like Minnesota or wherever she lived. I can't remember where they said she lived.
Yeah, wherever she was. So like she's getting dinner ready. So I'm thinking it's like 6-ish at night.
Yeah, give or take.
I think is a good dinner time estimate.
You know what? It could have been. I feel like it might have been even a little bit earlier because David had a hot date that night. So it's like, yeah.
So let's just say it's like 5:30-ish.
Okay, we'll go with that.
Okay. That seems like a perfectly reasonable dinner time.
Yeah. Before we like jump to the next scene, though, I just want to talk about like the ominous music they play, like when the lamp sparks.
Yes.
It's like that very serious tone because we just got like pretty much like 3 minutes of like solid jokes like in a row.
Like we got jokes between Sandy and the dad. We get jokes between the three brothers.
And then we like the tone changes, the lamp sparks, and like, did they have a studio audience? Is there like a ooh like sound effect? I don't even know. Like, I feel like that could have been.
I think so. I don't know if this one was recorded in front of an audience or not.
I mean, they could have just canned it in. Like they can laughter things in sometimes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So it's like dinner time. So the guys go down. They're gonna go have dinner, and then we don't see them having dinner. It is hours freaking later. Okay. It is hours later. David is out on his date. The dad is asleep. The boys are getting ready for bed. Sandy is getting ready for bed. They're expecting David to be home in like the next 10, 15 minutes.
can I just talk about how they all like their bathrobe game is top notch in this episode? Like, I feel like they all have the same exact bathrobe, but they're just different colors.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
I don't know. I liked it. I just liked how they just coordinated that. Like, so they didn't like mix them up.
I love the concept of a bathrobe, but I don't remember the last time I actually used a bathrobe.
I mean, I have one, and I've maybe used it like 4 times in my life. They just not. They're weird. I don't know. Like, they don't flow right to me for some reason. They just like come undone.
Like, I guess it depends on, like, situational. Like, it's just not something that I feel is as popular in modern day society.
Yeah, I don't know. At least in my world, like I don't
Yeah.
see it too often. Yeah. So anyway, so Sandy Duncan's walking around the house in her like hot neon pink fucking bathrobe. She's like wandering the halls on the second floor.
She smells something.
Yeah, she's like,
She smells something, and she's like, does nobody else smell this?
they don't know what she's talking about. They think she's crazy.
Like, Michael is is her brother, is the dad.
Okay, yeah.
Josh Taylor.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
I ask this all the time. How old do you think his character is supposed to be?
Oh my god. Honestly, I think he's supposed to be like 38.
You think so? Yeah, I was thinking like 34 to 38.
Yeah.
He just looks hella old. And like, how old Sandy Duncan's supposed to be? Like, because she calls him bigger brother.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, okay, hold on. You're gonna make me go do math.
Cat math right now. Get out the abacus. Carry the one.
Hey, so Sandy Duncan was born in 1946.
Okay, so she was like 39, I think, right? Did I do the math right?
She was 41. Okay.
41 in this episode?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Sorry. It's 1987. I was thinking 85 for some reason. Sorry.
Josh Taylor was born in 1943.
So that would have made him like 40...
44.
44? Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, I guess I could see that. Maybe he started late. Started having kids late.
No. Really? He's that old? Fuck.
Yeah, the 40s were a long time ago, girl. We're like 20 years away from it being 100 years.
Well, I just did not realize that the man who plays Roman Brady is 80 years old.
He sure is.
Wow.
Sandy alerts the family. They're all now like looking around, and the dad like opens the door that leads to the attic, and like this like plume of like smoke comes out, and no one knows how to react. Like they don't like they're just like caught in the moment. They don't like realize they need to escape right away. Like two of the kids like want to go in their room and get stuff, and the dad's like, I guess, trying to get him out of the house, but he's not trying hard enough, and like Sandy's kind of being weird too.
Yeah, everybody's being weird. They all forgot about stop, drop, and roll and all that stuff.
Yeah, they didn't even they weren't even sure if David was home, and like because Sandy's like, oh,
Yeah, like they didn't know where David was. That's probably my favorite part of this.
they're looking in rooms, and then it just kind of like quick cuts to like outside, and we see David cruising down like the cool like back lot of like Universal Studios or something, driving home.
Yeah.
And like as he's getting closer to like where his street is, you kind of start to see siren glares on the windshield, and then there's kind of like he gets to a point where he can't drive anymore, and there's like a like a firefighter, a cop or something. He's like, "I'm sorry, sir." He's like, "You can't go any further than this." And he's like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Oh, there's a terrible house fire, like in the next street over."
And he just pushes through. He's like, my family's down there, screw you.
So he takes a few steps and he like realizes this is his house and he starts running fast and like they do this like close up on his face and it's all dramatic and they kind of like do like almost like a Baywatch slow mo kind of thing so you can see all his emotions.
Yeah.
He gets up to like the barricade and he just like muscles his way through and like firefighters are trying to stop him but he's like pushing them away and he's like yelling for his family.
And he's like, Dad, Sandy, Mark, Willie. Like, he's trying to get their attention. And then you hear Sandy go, David, over here.
The best line right here, though, is the dad goes to David, I'm so glad you're all right. I'm like, he would be all right. He wasn't even there. Like, I just thought that part was weird. So we kind of did get this, like, quick, like, pre-commercial shot of them, like, just staring at the house. And we get, like, a shot of the house. And it's actually, like, pretty good effects.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like they built like a model home and just like lit it on fire.
Pretty much, yeah.
Then it cuts to it's like it's like a few hours later, maybe I don't know, it's sometime later, like the same night.
Yeah, it's the morning. Like the firefighters have put the fire out,
and they're at
and the pools are like, well, welcome to our home.
I'm guessing this is the first time we've seen the pool house.
Possibly. I honestly couldn't say. I mean,
because she gives them a tour of the house.
At least the like first like real time we see the pool house.
Because she gives them all a tour of the house. Like it seems like nobody knew what the house looked like. And can we just talk about her house, the Mrs. Pool's house?
Yes.
Wooden panel walls throughout the whole house.
Yes.
Floor to ceiling. I even feel like the wooden floor matches the same like wooden wall tiles too. So just like it looked like a cabin, like in the woods.
Yeah.
Like I just like, where are they? Like I want to see the outside of this house.
That was a thing though for a while. That wood paneling everywhere.
That was true. That is true. And then like Mrs. Poole is Mrs. Poole. Like she's trying to lighten up the mood, and she's just saying like inappropriate jokes.
Yeah.
And like Sandy's kind of being like it too. She's kind of like going along with it, and the kids are frazzled. They're all frazzled. The dad's just kind of like shell shocked too because like his house burnt down.
Like okay, their house burnt down not long after their mother or wife died. Yeah,
it's been like a few months at best, maybe.
Yeah, it's been like a handful of months because I think when Sandy shows up, it's like after Valerie's been gone for a little while.
I mean, I feel like it happened in between May and September. Like it's the like it happened in the summer.
Yeah, I feel like it happened like May, June.
Yeah, like right.
Because then Sandy was like, I will come out there, I'll get a job. Because like right as that happened, Sandy got dumped by her like boyfriend. He didn't want to marry her or something.
Yeah, and there's like a whole like she's a guidance counselor at the school that Jason Bateman goes to. Was that what we established in the previous one we did?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So she just had to like uproot her life and like start over somewhere.
Yeah.
And the opportunity rose, her older brother's wife died. So now there's like a spare bedroom. Not even a spare bedroom. That's like Valerie's like old sewing room or something that she moves into.
Yeah, like her office or something like because Valerie had a job.
Do you remember what it was?
No, I don't.
You know what? We really have to go back and watch a Valerie episode just to kind of like tie it all together.
I mean, to be fair, we did watch a Valerie episode early on.
We did? Did we?
We did the first episode when we did Jason Bateman January the first time. We watched the first episode of Valerie.
No, we watched the one where Sandy Duncan moves into town.
Oh.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because remember she went to school at like she was David's guidance counselor and like
oh, that's right. I went and watched that episode on my own. Never mind. Sorry.
Okay, yeah, I haven't seen a Valerie Harper episode in like 30 years, so I couldn't even tell you what they're like anymore.
Yes, because that first episode was super creepy because like David was dating a 24-year-old woman and he was like 15.
Oh yeah, and like he didn't understand why his mom was upset. Like that was that the premise.
Like there were some sketchy ass lines in that one
Yeah.
with this woman trying to like defy it. I was like, oh my god, I feel dirty.
This show is like very over sexualized too. Like I never realized that. I think this all went over my head when I was young too. There's a scene like later on. It's like the next day or something, or it's like some short time later, and like David's like they're all in the pool living room. Like one of the kids is trying to do his homework, one of the kids is watching TV too loud, and like David's on the phone with like some girl from his school because he's going for like the sympathy move. And he's like, so what are we going to do later? What are you going to do to me? I'm feeling really sad. I was like, oh my God. And there's like weird Mr. and Mrs. Poole moments too.
There's okay, so like we have to address the elephant in the room.
Yes.
Mr. Poole is played by Willard Scott. Willard Scott is creepy as fuck.
Yeah, we mostly talk about Mr. Poole or Willard Scott when we do our Thanksgiving Day episodes because we always do the parade, and he was the host of that thing for so many years, and he was always
Wait, wasn't Sandy one of the hosts of one of the ones we did?
yeah. The first one we did, it was Sandy Duncan and Willard Scott were the hosts.
And it was super, super uncomfortable to watch. Like,
Yeah, and
Willard Scott, creepy as fuck.
and
Creepy as fuck. Like, no, thank you.
we must have watched the 1987 one because I remember watching it, and Willard Scott mentions like he's now on Hogan Family because I think he joined the show this year too.
Oh yeah,
Because I don't like they always
yeah, that's true. Okay,
they always mentioned Mr. Poole, but we never seen him until I think this is his first episode actually. Because like they hide his face when he comes in the room. He's holding like a bunch of blankets.
oh probably.
And he like puts it down, and like there definitely is an audience because they react to him.
Yeah.
They react to his face. Like I don't know. Like was Willard Scott a catch in 1987?
Probably not.
They're trying to like set up the rooming arrangement, like where everyone's gonna sleep.
It's like you two boys can sleep on these Barca loungers. You can sleep on this couch. You can sleep on the dog bed.
And then like Mr. Poole's like, and our room's down the hall, but we lock the doors at night because you know what we like to do. And I was like, oh my god! And they like
Ugh.
he calls Mrs. Poole his little minx or something, or like Hellcat or something.
Yeah.
And she like purrs at him. That's great. They go to a square dancing thing too, like.
Yeah, they got square dancing. They got the outfits. Like that is what I remember from the show is that moment.
Yes.
Them dressed up to go square dancing.
Yeah, they're going square dancing, and is that the same day that the Hogan family decides like to go to the house with the insurance assessor?
The day before.
Okay, so this scene's fucking weird too. So
God. Okay, like can we talk about the fact that one of the teenage boys is kind of like guiding the insurance adjuster the whole time?
yeah, one of the twins.
And then like there's like this insurance adjuster is just like, I feel so bad for you guys, like, and Sandy's like, suck it up.
Every room they like open up. They don't show a lot of the rooms. They just open up a door, and he's like, "Oh my god, that looks horrible."
Though I kind of feel like every time he said that, they got an extra like 20 grand.
Probably.
That's the insurance adjuster you want, Sandy.
Yeah, so that's the iconic scene where David walks into his room. He finds like I guess what used to be his dresser, and like you see like the skeleton of a frame. You could tell there was a picture in there.
Yeah, like everything's just like ash, basically.
There's no more pictures of Valerie Harper out there.
Nope, they're all gone.
You don't think like anyone like that Valerie has like other family members that have pictures like from their wedding or something?
Like there's got to be somebody. I'm pretty sure there's somebody, but we're never ever going to mention them again.
But yeah, this was NBC's like way of just saying, you know what, we're just gonna erase her memory. Like let's just burn all the pictures.
Like there it is. There is no reason to ever see this woman, because like everything between Valerie Harper and NBC Lorimar was really contentious.
It was a contract thing, right? Like money.
It was like a contract thing, and like the direction of the show wasn't going the way she thought it was supposed to go. You know, because shows like kind of evolve as they find their place.
Yeah. Like sometimes like the original premise doesn't like work, so they just kind of try to rebrand a little bit, kind of like Cougar Town was supposed to be about Courtney Cox dating young men, but then they're like, no, that ain't gonna work.
Yeah.
So they made it more of like a Friends clone.
Yeah, so behind the scenes, people like who worked on the show would call it Throw Mama from the series.
Oh yeah, I remember reading that somewhere. I think we said that in the last episode that we did.
We probably did. Who knows?
Yeah, so they basically erased the memory of Valerie from the show. The family goes back to the house, and like they find out it's going to be like 6 weeks. Is it 6 weeks before the house is going to be done?
Yeah, something like that. So, which is really, that seems really fast.
That does too, because I feel like it would take a lot longer than that.
So, here's the thing. Back in my 20s, I worked for a company in Durango. The original building had burned down, like 6-ish months before I started working for these people. There's like this big fire. It took out 3 buildings. because they all shared like an attic space, and that's how it spread. And it took like over a year to get the new building up and running.
Okay.
So like, because they were like the only business that had been affected that went and found a temporary location to rent, and that's when I started working for them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. But he said 6 weeks, and I was like, that seems like way too fast. They gotta like gut the house first.
Yeah, like, okay, because the smoke smell does not go away. Because the people I worked for wanted, like, anything this woman could have pulled out of that wreckage, she did. And she tried to save everything she possibly could save, including stuff that should have just gotten, like, tossed out. Like, it wasn't worth saving.
Plus, you gotta bring in like there's different work crews that come in. You're gonna have like the cleanup crew comes in, and then you're gonna have like the plumber, the electrician, like the carpenters, the drywall people, the painters, like the like furniture like the people that are putting in like the cabinets and stuff. So like it's like a process. You gotta like time that all out. Like, what is the next episode? Is it like a time jump, or like are they just like living in a motel?
I think it has to be a time
Like,
jump.
I don't know. Like I don't remember. Or are they just not mentioned? Like they just do the next episode and it's like normal, but it's like a new house.
Yeah, so the next one is Willie and Mark find themselves mismatched to two unlikely girls for a school project on marriage, resulting in escalating hostility. Dave gets competitive with Sandy.
Yeah, like I just feel like they just jump to the next episode and just
Yeah.
like, don't mention it, but just have like a new house.
Yeah, but it's not even like that much of a new house. It's just like the same set, just repainted.
But yeah, they kept the same. Like they had to like I feel like they had to make a new set to show it burnt.
I think there's like they changed a few things around that they didn't like the flow of
Okay.
on the original set.
I mean, I always thought like when they show the house from the outside and then when you see it from the inside, it looks like inside it's just very spacious and it just seems like there's a lot more room. It doesn't match the house.
It doesn't look like it would be that spacious.
We talked about that before.
Like, the thing that gets me is the kitchen TV room on this, because they have the living room in front, and then they have this, like, good-sized kitchen, and then it's, like, a tea room, like another living room right there in the kitchen.
Yeah, and I feel like, isn't there, like, a kind of, like, a porch or, like, a sunroom behind the kitchen, too?
Yeah, like, there's, like, a mudroom or something.
But, like, they always seem to go in there. I feel like Sandy was going to make it her office in the episode we watched last time, because I remember us being baffled by the layout of the house.
I mean, you know me, I get very baffled by TV show layouts.
And I was hoping we get to revisit it and, like, watching it burn down. Like, I feel like a part of me, thought there was more fire.
Probably.
But I remember after watching this for like years, I was afraid to turn lamps on or like find an old lamp. I remember we would like get an old lamp out of the basement. I'm like, do not turn that on. The house is gonna burn down if you turn that fucking thing on. But I also the lamp that they found looked more like a lamp and not some fucking weird piece of wood with a light bulb on it.
Yeah, like I remember it looking like a lamp and not whatever that was.
I don't know what that was. I only knew it was a lamp because it had a light bulb on it. So then, pretty much like the last scene of the episode is like the pool house is weird. They don't want to be there anymore. They want to get the hell out of there. So like the dad comes in. He's like, "Great news, everybody! We're gonna move to a motel tomorrow."
Yeah, and then they're like, "Oh, it's like, guys, you need to live somewhere for 6 weeks. Just like, it sucks, but you're gonna have your house back."
The dad's trying to sell it, so he's like, there's gonna be ice machines. There's gonna be free cable TV. There's gonna be like glassware wrapped in cellophane."
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "Did I mention the ice machine?" And like, the kids are all pissed off, and like Sandy's trying to like corral them for dinner.
Yeah.
And Jason Bateman becomes like this like very serious for a moment. So he comes out and he's like, "You know what, guys?"
Well, here's the thing. He does this. This is where he's like, "Guys, there were several minutes while he's like running down the street. He's like, where I thought not only had I just lost my mother, that I was losing the rest of my family and my home. Like, the house can be rebuilt. We still have each other." And that's when I start crying Niagara Falls. And I'm like, I hate you. Why did you make me cry?
Then they all gather around the table. Sandy starts bringing the food out, and she's like, "Why don't we say grace?" And the dad's like, "I think David already did."
Yeah.
And kind of does like that little freeze frame, and it gets like the little dramatic heartstrings music playing. And we get the.
There was a lot of emotions in this episode.
It's wild. It was a wild, wild adventure. A wild 22 minutes. You know, you never know what you're gonna get in Jason Bateman January. You can get some weird.
That's true. You really don't.
Weird episode about his parents getting divorced. You could have his house burned down. He could be a werewolf. You never know.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're gonna get in Jason Bateman January. All right. I'm gonna ask the age-old question.
Okay.
On a scale of 1 out of 5 square dancing Mrs. Pools, how many square dancing Mrs. Pools would you give the Hogan family? Burnt Out, season 3, episode 3. I'm gonna say you gotta give this a 5. I don't know why. I feel like I'm going all out.
I'm gonna say a 4.
What?
Yeah.
What's wrong with it? What takes it down a notch? Is it Willard Scott? Because we could just replace him.
Yeah, it's Willard Scott.
We could just replace him with a weird lamp. Like, we don't have to deal with him. You know what? You could cut all the scenes out of this episode, and it still would flow normally.
Yeah, no, Willard Scott's just there, and he's just creepy, and it takes that point away.
I'm gonna give this a 5.
It's a really strong Jason Bateman episode, too.
You know, I like is he the focal point of the show? Because I feel like the 2 we've done, he's been like the focal point.
This is really, I think, the turn where it was acceptable for David to be kind of the focal point of the series.
What were the early episodes like? Is it more like Valerie, or is it just kind of like
Yeah, I think that's the thing is it's kind of like with Silver Spoons, I think.
Okay.
Jason Bateman is just so fucking good. The audience fucking loves him.
He just takes over. He just wraps everyone in.
You know how on Growing Pains, there's a lot of Mike-centric episodes because Kirk Cameron was so enjoyable to watch before he lost his freaking mind.
Yeah, he pretty much was like the best part of that show. And then when what's his name? Ben got a little bit older, and like they try to do like the same like teenage Ben storylines, and I'm like, no, like it's not working.
It didn't work because Ben was such a different person than Mike.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's like was part of that generation where the teenage son was kind of really the focus, the draw of the show.
Yes, and it worked
for many viewers.
And it ran for 6 seasons.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. We were 6 years old when this episode aired. Okay? I don't know about you, but I know when I was a kid watching this show, David was my favorite.
Yeah, he's the one I remembered the most. Like, Sandy Duncan and him.
Yeah. Like, when I watched Family Ties as a kid, it was Alex P. Keaton was my man.
Yeah, and he kind of... Michael J. Fox kind of took over that show, too. Like, it was supposed to be like a family-centric show, but it was like his show, really.
Yeah, like that's...
They should have just called the show Alex, and it would have worked.
Like, there's this part in the 80s where that's just kind of how things naturally progressed. Because we had these very charismatic actors at the time who could handle it.
Yeah, he can do comedy, he can do drama. You could probably sing a song if you asked him to.
Like, let's be real. When we were kids, like, once we kind of got empathetic and stuff, who's making us cry? Jason Bateman as David in moments like this. Michael J. Fox as Alex P. Keaton, when his friend is dead and everything. Like, Waterworld, you know?
Oh, yeah.
It's just this generation happened to have these young actors. Like, here's the thing. Ricky Schroeder couldn't do what Jason Bateman did.
And you know what? Jason Bateman did such a great job on Silver Spoons, they had to pull him from the show because they wanted Ricky Schroeder to be the big star.
Literally.
They wanted him to be on Battle of the Network Stars and not Jason Bateman. And you know what? I don't think he did. I don't even think there was a Battle of the Network Stars around that time.
Yeah. And if you think about it, I can't even think of really any, teenage girls in this age group who made the impact that Jason Bateman, Michael J. Fox, and Kirk Cameron made at that time.
You mean you don't like Tracy Gold? When her boyfriend Sandy dies in a car crash?
Dude, I'm in the middle of Matthew Perry's now, okay?
Okay. Did they mention Tracy Gold? That whole arc? This
is what I know now, is that Matthew Perry has gone to rehab more than I thought was physically possible.
Oh yeah, he basically he had a suite there. He just was in and out. I'll be back. See you guys in 6 months.
It's he was in and out, and here's the thing. Matthew Perry, if he had found the right vehicle in the late 80s, he would have been there with Jason Bateman and Kirk Cameron and Michael J. Fox.
Well, he did find the right vehicle. But
He did. And he almost didn't even get that role of Chandler.
What is it? Like, who was the original choice? Do we know?
Oh my god, I know the name.
I'll wait for you to say Jason Bateman.
No, it wasn't Jason Bateman.
Leo DiCaprio.
No.
Mark Wahlberg. I'm just throwing names out there now.
It was some guy who he actually had the role, but then he turned it down to do another show. And the funny thing is, like, everybody who's going into audition for the role of Chandler would go to Matthew Perry for advice on what to do.
They're like, hey, we loved your story arc on Growing Pains.
He's like, no, like, he would tell them how to do it, like, how he would do Chandler, and they would go in, and, like, including the guy who got the role, because he was, like, friends with the guy, but he was, like, super jealous, because he wanted, the reason is Matthew Perry was stuck on a Fox show. He was committed to a Fox show about baggage handlers in the year 3000.
We talked about that before. We brought it up. What was it called?
I don't even... LAX 3000.
It was on one of the nights we talked about. Like, we brought it up. Like, I don't even remember that.
It was...
Like, I don't remember it being a thing. Like,
it was LAX 2194. They aired it as a TV movie.
It was a movie, not a show? Was it a pilot movie?
It was supposed to be a TV show, but Fox decided not to move forward with it, so they aired it as a TV movie.
Matthew Perry was still, like, in contract negotiations with it?
Okay. They were the same pilot season. Okay. Matthew got that show first. He got that show, like, early on in the season, like, as, like, Friends was brewing. Like, Friends became the pilot of the season.
Why would he have picked that, like, LAX show?
He did. Okay, you're not listening to what I'm saying, Patrick. He didn't get to audition for Friends because he was already committed to this show.
So, like, he thought that this show was going to get picked up.
Okay, so he auditioned for the show, the LAX show. Then Friends came up, and it was, like, the perfect role for him. But because he was legally committed to this other show, he couldn't even think about auditioning for Chandler. Like, he was legally...
Because he would have broke that contract.
Yeah, he was legally committed to that show. Like, and they already, like, with Jennifer Aniston, they already had her committed to already on another show on CBS.
What show?
And they're lucky they... Muddling Through.
Oh, yeah, okay. You all right over there?
No, I'm dying. This cough won't go away.
All right.
What I'm saying is there are just certain actors who are so charismatic, they are the go-to for the show. Sometimes it's a bit annoying, like with Steve Urkel on Family Matters, which uses the same set as the Hogan family.
Oh, yeah. Because it's the Miller Boyette, or whatever it was, production. Yeah.
Lorimar, Miller Boyette, yeah, stuff.
Yeah. Good times. All right. Where can you follow our Wild Ass Adventures? Cat, also the author. Where can you follow us?
You can follow us on Twitter at @VeryPodcast. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, Tumblr, TikTok at A Very Special Podcast. You found us somehow, so follow us, tweet us, tell us you hate us, because apparently that's cool to do.
Yeah.
And all that good stuff.
Wait, who said that?
I don't know.
Like someone specific, or just like we got a bad review? Like...
No, just in general.
Oh, okay. Like I feel like it happened once. Like someone hated my voice or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. We have like a one-star review, and it's like they just said how much they hated me, and I was like, oh.
Yeah.
How sweet of you. All right. Yeah. So join us next time. All that good stuff. And as always, girl, as always.
Bye.
Peace out, Girl Scout.
What? You're so weird.